Dragon Ball Super, one of the most controversial animes to date. I've never seen a community of fans more at odds with one another. For most, it seems to be a love-hate relationship. I love Dragon Ball Super, but maybe I'm in the minority to be fair. I love the whole Dragon Ball universe, with the exception of a certain live-action film that should not be spoken of. Also have an extensive knowledge of the lore, having been a fan for 20 plus years. I've read every chapter of the Dragon Ball manga, seen every episode of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Kai, GT, and Super, as well as dub and sub versions of every show and every single movie. Now, Dragon Ball Super gets a lot of hate. And to be fair, a lot of it is deserved. Look at some of the animation, especially in the earlier episodes. You guys win this argument. I'm not even going to argue with you here. I'm just here to show what Super does right. For every frame of shit animation, we had some beautifully animated scenes as well. You could tell that as the series made more money, the quality definitely stepped up for sure. The Tournament of Power just took things to another level. Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and Super, they're all different cups of tea. They're not the same shows. You cannot watch one expecting it to be the other. And that's where a lot of fans make mistakes. Every show does something better than the other, but I'm here to talk about what Super does great. I'm not here to convince people or change minds. I'm just here to talk about the positive aspects that are constantly overlooked and weighed down by all the negative. Now, Dragon Ball Super is much more in spirit to the original Dragon Ball than DBZ, and a lot of people that hate on Super are hardcore DBZ fans and haven't watched the original in its entirety. Dragon Ball was not about power levels, huge explosions, powering up, or death. Dragon Ball focused a lot on martial arts and had a lot of comedic slapstick. DBZ lost focus from the fundamentals of martial arts pretty early on and went straight to power levels. And there wasn't a lot of comedy, it was much more serious. I think a lot of people grew up with DBZ in a serious tone and got disappointed with watching Super. But Dragon Ball Super did have some of the best fights of the series. Technique, wisdom, and experience counterbalance brute strength and allows characters to shine that otherwise would be useless at this point. It's not just about having the highest power level, but you need to be a smart fighter as well. That's one of the main reasons Goten and Trunks weren't suitable for the Tournament of Power. Of course they're stronger than Roshi and they're stronger than Krillin, but who are the more experienced fighters? And in martial arts, just because you are stronger and faster than somebody doesn't guarantee a victory over someone with years of experience. Roshi proved this in Dragon Ball, and then again proved this in Dragon Ball Super. I was ecstatic they allowed my man Roshi to shine again. He was one of the main characters in the original Dragon Ball. He was the original GOAT. But he got snuffed in DBZ pretty hard. Super definitely did a good job of making martial arts matter again. We got to see some really good fights. Super didn't have too much senseless clashing and talking drawn out fights. Most fights were sweet and simple to the point. You felt and saw every punch, kick, and slam, and I really enjoyed the choreography. I think Super excelled in this area. Even though characters were fighting on god levels, they were still fighting, not just clashing with one another. Every character's unique fighting style was emphasized, and the rewatchability on these fights are excellent. They just do not get old. Another thing that Super really excelled on was the slice of life episodes used as fillers in between arcs. A lot of these episodes were my favorite in the whole Dragon Ball series, and they were executed extremely well. They did a great job with Baby Pan, making her an interesting and watchable character at such a young age. This makes me excited at what the future holds in store for her. A lot of episodes in between sagas didn't feel like filler. They were entertaining and I seldom got bored. The baseball game between the universes was one of my favorite in the series. Good blend of humor and action, as well as many references to past Dragon Ball events and uncanny play on character puns and personalities. And that brings me to my next point. Dragon Ball Super excels on pacing. Some people say the arcs concluded too fast, but a lot of people growing up didn't watch Dragon Ball Z in its original run. They watched it on Toonami sometimes twice a day, every day, and it spoiled them. Imagine if we had to watch Dragon Ball Z in its original Japanese run once a week. Let me give you an example here, guys. Frieza arc took over 6 months to complete in Japan. While here in the USA, Toonami finished it in over 30 days, a little over 30 days. So a lot of people didn't realize how slow DBZ's pacing was unless they lived in Japan in the late 80s and early 90s. Flaws in the pacing have been overlooked because due to us being able to watch a new episode every day, and now with internet and DVDs, we can binge watch the whole series. Some people love the slower pacing and drawn out battles of DBZ, and I enjoy the style as well. But I welcome Super's faster paced style and more action-packed battles. I don't need to see a character power up for a whole episode, but that's just my opinion. I love the Frieza and Namek arcs. They're my favorite in Dragon Ball history, but I gotta skip some episodes. Now, Dragon Ball Super does a great job of utilizing character and special attacks. So many throwbacks throughout the series, seeing moves relevant again such as Kaioken, Special Beam Cannon, and the Mafuba, Father-Son Galagun, Solar Flare, Spirit Bomb. All of this really showcased how unique the Dragon Ball characters really are, and the presentation of these moves were gorgeous. I feel like Super doesn't get enough credit for this. I mean, that Father-Son Galagun has got to be one of my favorite moments of all time. Super also introduced us to many new characters, antagonists that aren't just senseless monsters who want to destroy the universe for no reason. Many of these characters can be seen as anti-heroes, not villains, and they give us plenty reasons to root for them at times. You can't call these characters pure evils. They have complex backstories which allow them to return at later times in the stories and maybe join the Z-Fighters. Dragon Ball Super is getting better. They listen. Arcs have improved, characters have improved, they made Gohan great again, animation has vastly improved. Most of the negatives people mention are mainly in the first two arcs, which cover the movies. We have a bright future here. The Dragon Ball universe is expanding, and it has me excited. Every arc outdoes the last, which means Broly should be exceeding our expectations. The Saiyans backstory should be interesting for anybody, but if you can't wait for the movie, I encourage you to go read Dragon Ball Minus. It's not hard to find online, and it will help understand the trailer a little better. Well, that's a wrap for this episode. Many more to come. I think I will go into details of the Broly trailer next. See you guys later.